Verdict on first real snow ride of 2022, the winter of 2022-2023. Does anyone need a photographer in Los Angeles?
So I'm about to get ready to go for a bike ride on the trainer, so I thought I would talk about it a little bit. It's interesting to me. I find that some people are so anti-trainer, but not just for themselves. They're against other people riding it. It reminds me of the irrational hatred some people have for e-bikes. Here's the thing. You don't have to ride a trainer. You don't have to ride an e-bike. You don't have to ride any kind of bike you don't want to ride. Ride what you want. Have fun. Cool. But I got thinking, why am I someone who rides a trainer? Because I don't race. I don't interval train. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. Performance is not something that I'm super interested in. One thing, though, I was thinking is, I think all of us who ride bikes are interested in some level of fitness, because no matter what, you want to be able to ride your bike the way you want to ride your bike. I like to be able to ride, with people that may be a little faster. I like to go far. I like to climb hills and see the views. So to me, staying in shape with the bike is something that is important. I get it. I used to be I would never ride indoors. And when I saw a couple people I knew doing it, I'm like, I'm never going to do that. The point of my bike is fun, and that does not look fun. I was also, though, remembering, what it was like back in the day, because my brother was a triathlete and he would ride on rollers, and it's that just looks miserable. Well, things have changed a lot, and I'll get into that in a minute.
So a lot of people have commented about me never wearing a face cover, and I gotta say, I'm a mile and a third in, and I tried it, and it was the worst experience on a bike ever. Look at my glasses. my head and my face are already too hot, and it's 17 degrees out, so not for me. This will be good when shoveling my driveway, but I'll never wear one of these on a bike again. Back to the cap. I'd rather have my face a little bit chilly for about 2 miles than deal with that. Also only a mile in and the down jacket's coming off, so turns out I know myself, and when I try to do something different, I'm not happy about it.
One of the things I was thinking too is my buddy Kenny, through life circumstances right now, with his schedule, with his kids and his job, is just not able to get out on the bike. He hasn't been riding at all. And he told me he just bought a trainer, and he was reminded of something I said in the first video I made of my first impressions of having a trainer. And it's I don't ride a trainer instead of riding outside. I ride a trainer instead of not riding. And that is still 95% true for me. I ride the trainer when I can't go out, or when going outside would not be enjoyable. I know some people just don't have those circumstances where they live. Here, we do. The streets have been horrible to ride the last few weeks. Single-digit temperatures, everyone has their old cold tolerance, and I hate when people cold shame other people. We don't need a joke that when people live in Florida that they're complaining about 50 degrees. If you're not used to it, you're not used to it. We all know in Ohio what it feels like, the difference between a 55-degree day in the fall and a 55-degree day in the spring. In the fall, we're putting on all our winter clothes at first, and in the spring, we're throwing on shorts and a t-shirt after a long winter. So yeah, it's just not worth cold shaming people. It's not worth, you don't know what other people's circumstances are like. So, and then on top of it, how I had started off, the way that trainers are now is so different. The apps that you could use with them makes riding indoors so much more engaging. I'm someone who uses Zwift. I haven't tried the other apps, but I know people who enjoy other programs for riding. But the combination of a smart trainer, even a reasonably cheap one like mine, and a reasonably affordable, I guess. Mine's a Saris M2, not super expensive, but it is a smart trainer. So when I ride with Zwift, Zwift is, it has drafting with other riders. It has resistance for the hill climbs and all that kind of stuff. And then it's a game. And so anyone who's a gamer, it's a game that's powered by you, and that makes it engaging enough for me. When I made the first video, I was really wondering if I would keep riding the trainer, if the novelty would wear off. I would say a level of the novelty did wear off, where I was more motivated to ride it and unlock stuff with the game mentality, and try and do their events, and keep up on ones that would all string together to unlock certain stuff. That became less important to me, and it became more of really just that tool when I couldn't get outside to get some extra miles in.
Not a lot of people have been out here. Obviously, we've had these strong winds, so tracks could be covered up, but I don't see any other bicycle tracks out here. A truck has come through, and then 5 or 6 hikers. It's interesting with the different kind of snows, picking my line. Like sometimes I could ride in those truck tracks, and then other times they become like what we call out on the road brown sugar. Obviously not brown down here on a bike path, but that kind of stuff where the snow slips on the snow and you can't keep yourself upright. So I'm trying to stay in the fresh snow areas. That's where I get the most traction, but sometimes I have to cross over the icy footprints. Very rideable, but very slow going. So yeah, a 10-mile, it's one of those winter days where a 10-mile ride is going to feel like a 20-mile ride. I'll say right now the Festive 500 is probably out of the question for me. I didn't ride on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Didn't ride Friday either, even though that's not part of the Festive 500. But 6,500 miles, it'll just have to be long days later in this week when it warms up if it's not raining like crazy. So we'll see. Be happy with 10 miles today. Yeah, that'd be enough for me. So, all right, check in later. Hard to film while I'm riding. I need both hands on the bars right now, as you can imagine, and my gloves on. So,
but it still is something that keeps me way more engaged. Like doing a group ride where there's a bunch of other people, and if you choose to want to race it, you can, or if you're just trying to hang with a group, you know, it's just motivating to be there. The chats that are going on make it a little motivating. So it works for my mentality. It's even like, you know, I do Duolingo to learn French, and the game aspect of that is something that keeps me engaged. So even though I'm not a gamer in any other aspect of my life, when it comes to stuff that's important to me, the gamey aspect of something really does work for me and keep me engaged. So I would also, if anyone's thinking about getting a trainer, I would discourage from going ultra budget and getting a dumb trainer, a regular trainer where you just pedal and watch TV. I know I have friends who do that too, and I have friends who have recommended like that's a cheap way to get into it. I would say don't. I'd say this with a lot of bike stuff. Get something used that's better than something new and worse. So I would get a used smart trainer, because now there's so many out there, you know, instead of like trying to buy, like go super budget with something new that will not be engaging in any way. Like if you like to pedal and watch Netflix and that does it for you, awesome. That would never do it for me, and it wouldn't be what I'd recommend to anyone else. Erin, my girlfriend, bought a regular trainer that's just resistance pedaling, and she rode it a few times and sold it. I'm not saying that she would have kept riding it if she had gotten a smart trainer. I mean, this is not science, a study of one, but I believe there would have been a better chance. There's a better chance it's going to hook you and make you want to do it with some of those like motivating factors of it just seeming more realistic. The real downsides of the trainer are, for me, and they have higher end ones that do a lot more, but mine's very stationary, and so it doesn't feel like really moving your bike, and you have to make sure you stand up and kind of, I don't know, even wiggle around a little bit, because putting a lot of miles on the trainer is a little just, I don't know, it's hard on certain parts of your body without that kind of movement you get. It's hard to ride the trainer for a really long time. Like, even though what I mentioned about engagement, man, when I could get, like yesterday, I did a 45-mile ride. That is like, to me, monstrous on a trainer. Like 15 to 20 miles is about where I can comfortably like be engaged in the game and maybe have something on YouTube in the background. But beyond that, it becomes tough. I'm impressed by the people who can ride really long distances on a trainer. It just, no matter how engaging they make the game, at some point you're still sitting in your basement or your garage or wherever.
There's some cross-country ski tracks out here, and if I touch them, I almost go down immediately. Must have completely packed down the snow and frozen really well.
I would say in a nutshell, I'm just glad I have the option to do both, ride outside or ride inside. Like I said, right now, like our shoulders to the main streets aren't plowed, so it's a pain to ride with traffic. The side streets, a lot of them are with that packed down snow. It's just hard to keep your balance. I went out on Monday. I'm glad I did, but 8 miles an hour and 11 miles is, when I do that with friends and I slip and slide in the snow and we're all hanging out and we're going to go get some food, great. Solo, sometimes I go out there and I'm just kind of like, why am I doing this? And today is one of those days where I have my group ride tonight. We're going to go ride outside. It's going to be awesome. But since I do have this mileage goal that I've set for myself, 6,500 miles by the end of the year, I'm going to hop on the trainer and hopefully knock out like 20 miles in, a reasonably quick time. So again, I'm doing this ride instead of not riding, I wouldn't go outside right now and ride 20 miles and ride later. I don't have the time for both. I do always wonder with the trainer, like, I know mine's probably not the most accurate. It's a wheel on trainer and I try and calibrate it and do the spin down test, but I don't know like how miles outdoor relate to miles inside. When I start pedaling on the trainer, I always feel like there's no way I'd really be going this fast when I look at the speed. But then when I get off, I realize how absolutely whipped I am. And I think it's just that when I'm outside, I'm looking at stuff, I'm stopping at stop signs, stopping at some traffic lights. But yeah, it's just a totally different, it is very different. It's a different workout, even though you're pedaling on the bike, and it feels different. But yeah, I can't say they relate one-to-one, but I do know when I got off the trainer yesterday after doing 45 miles, I was spent, my muscles were tired, and all that kind of stuff. So it is a workout. It does keep me in shape. I enjoy a little bit of the Zwift gamey aspect. And, like I said, sometimes I'm just not going to ride if outside is the only option. So that's it for this one. Again, hope everyone's been having a happy holiday season. Hopefully you don't have to work too much this week. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.
So can I go? We got embarrassed.
That's pricey.
No. The best dry leaves. Picture of all that.
Thing, get over.